In his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell said that myths are public dreams and dreams are private myths. For any person who's adamant about the fact that they're not good storytellers, they have no storytelling bone in their body, when they go to sleep at night, in their dreams, they're able to concoct the most exhilarating stories that are an amalgamation of different characters and scenarios. And often stories that follow a certain framework. You see a lot of heroes' journeys in dreams itself. And it's a right mix of comedy, tragedy, and a lot of suspense in dreams as well. I know I'm deviating slightly from your line of work, but I'm very curious to hear your opinion on this. What do you think happens when we dream, and what do you think it tells us about our innate ability to tell stories?
Dreams are fascinating. I mean, I had one 2 nights ago where I was being driven around by Lewis Hamilton.
Right.
Right, and I remember being really excited that Lewis Hamilton was driving. Um, the great thing about dreams is when you try to explain them to somebody else, you end up giving the weirdest little snapshot. Uh, so there was so much else going on, and it's like trying to pin fog to the wall. You just can't do it. And I think this is really, really interesting. So you said, well, there are lots of kind of heroes' journeys and dreams. I don't think they even come out from, well, in my experience anyway. They don't even come out in classic story form. There are lots of moments, lots of fragments, lots of movie. Yeah, so we dream in movies. We don't dream in words. But then when we try to explain our dreams, we then have to force things into words, and they become very distorted. So I think that's really it's a very interesting idea. There seem to be certain common things that a lot of us dream. So anxiety dreams, for example, have there's quite a lot of sort of commonality with people having stress or anxiety dreams. There is clearly okay. Here's why we have certain things in common, and so Jung refers to this. Joseph Campbell refers to this about there being we can okay. You can tell me a story and I get it. You can share something that you dreamt about and I sort of understand where we're fascinated by each other's dreams because we don't know where they come from. We have no control over them. They offer us all sorts of interpretation possibilities. Why? Okay, and so at a deeper level, you can say when you get a group of people together and they've been together for a long time, like people in a country, then there's a kind of shared dream. So we talked about the 70s. In 1974, I think it was, the Queen's 25th Jubilee, and the Sex Pistols put out a song called "God Save the Queen," the fascist regime. So it was a very critical attack on the Queen. And there's a line in there in that Sex Pistols song said, "There is no future in England's dreaming." There is no future in England's dreaming. And it was saying that the royal family is this kind of dream, this English dream. And the line is, "There's no future in that." Now, 50 years later, she's still there, so clearly they were wrong in that sense. Yeah, she outlasted the Sex Pistols, and she outlasted punk. So there was a future in England's dreaming, but there's something in the relationship in England. There's something in people's attitude to monarchy, to the royal family, to the Queen, that makes about as much sense as a dream. But it's shared. Well, a lot of people, we just had the Platinum Jubilee 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people, really hard to describe. It's hard to quantify. It's hard to measure. But my sense is a lot of people share something of that dream. And when they see each other in the street and they sort of see the flags flying and they see, there's almost like a sort of, "Oh yeah, you're dreaming it too," recognition between people. And I'm sure Americans feel it when the flag, yes, Americans venerate the flag. The French venerate liberté, the idea of this female icon of liberty. So everyone has something that's like a dream in that it doesn't make sense. But like a dream in that it's sort of shared. The book I was showing you earlier, the really big, hefty, the one about the left brain and the right brain.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an interesting thing that I'm hoping means that storytelling is grounded in something more concrete than Jungian psychology, which is quite hard to get your head around. So in the study of the kind of left brain, right brain split, the left brain, which controls your right hand, is very, very good at focusing on a task. So we talk about the task in hand. So the left brain apprehends something, gets a hold of it, right, with your right hand, and does the task, and focuses and breaks things down into component parts and fixes and understands, what is this thing made of? How can I make it do what I wanted to do? Okay, so it's very, very narrow, like focusing down like that. The right brain is like sort of, looking around, like taking in so much. The right brain is like just aware of so many different things you you name, things you can't codify, things you can't write down, things you can't get hold of. So while the left brain apprehends the situation, the right brain comprehends it in a very literally comprehensive way. And when you wake up in the morning and you try to describe what you've just dreamed, it's basically that your left brain trying to put into words this kaleidoscopic experience of everything that you've just had. And it's very, very hard to do. It's why artists and painters, generally speaking, will do a better job of depicting a dream than writers can, because they capture something about that quality you can capture it in an image better than you can in words. Now, here's the interesting thing. Think back, right, left brain, right brain. And I'm going to give you a little scenario, right? And then I'll show you how it maps onto storytelling. So, in the beginning, you've got something you're doing it. Okay. You know what you're doing it very well, it's keeping you alive, bang, off you go. So you're hunting for food, right? For example, or you're farming, or you're doing your day job, right? You're getting on with the thing you need to do, right? That's your left brain in charge. But you're kind of vaguely aware there's other stuff out there, and suddenly something that you're kind of vaguely aware of smacks into you. Yeah, comes and just blindsides you, smacks into you. Okay, then the right side of your brain is going, right, what the hell was that? What is going on? And it's suddenly the radar throws wide, and you're starting to try and think, what is happening? Where did that come from? What does it mean? And gradually you try to make sense of what's just happened. And when you can finally make sense of it, you kind of incorporate it back into the thing you were doing, back into the task. But you don't just do the same old thing you always were doing, because now you know something you didn't know before. So you've kind of gone a step up. So you're back. Okay, so that's a model where we're going from focusing on the task with the left brain into focusing on the great unknown with the right brain, and eventually making sense of that and getting it back into, look, I need to get on with a job here. Right, that's a model of cognitive development. That's a model based in neurology of how the world reveals itself to us as humans. Interestingly, it's not just humans. The left brain, right brain, all mammals, most vertebrates have left brain, right brain. If you watch a meerkat, right, family of meerkats, some meerkats are hunting for scorpions and creatures in the sand. Other meerkats are standing up, looking around for threat. So they're actually doing the same thing. Okay, that's a model of how we perceive the world and how we know what to do in the world. And it's a neurological model. It's also, that is a model of storytelling. So you say, once upon a time, okay, suddenly something happens, happy ever after. So once upon a time, Jack lived at home with his mum and a cow. Suddenly somebody persuaded him to swap the cow for some magic beans. Beanstalk grew. Jack, Finally, he makes it home. The giant is dead. He's got the money. Jack is a grown-up young man now. Okay, and his mother. Okay, so that model of storytelling, once upon a time, suddenly, until finally, is the same. Once upon a time is left brain, let's get on with this, just get on with the task in hand. Yep. Suddenly is the right brain's taking over, until finally we make sense of it and get on with the, that's back to left brain. And then, of course, in life, something else comes along and knocks you flying. It's not just fairy tales, so it works in kind of classic storytelling. But if you think about your own experience with the pandemic, so 3 years ago, I was running a business, face-to-face training and consultancy. Yeah, and I was doing really well. I was focusing on that business, making that business work, making it pay. March 2020, the pandemic strikes, all my work's gone. I'm thrown into chaos and confusion, and I have to work out what to do. What I work out what to do is how to teach people online, how to use Zoom to run consultations and training sessions, so that by the end of 2020, I've rescued my business and I'm back online. But actually, the business, I've rescued the business, but it's better than it was before, because now I can do hybrid working, I can do online, I can do face-to-face. So it's actually, I went through the chaos and came out better. But that model of storytelling of once upon a time, into the chaos, out stronger, that's the man in a hole story arc, by the way. It maps onto your and my brain structure. We share the same brain structure. So, of course, we understand the same story, because we're built the same.